All right. Well, we will get started here. Just wanted to welcome everyone again. My name is Marta, and today we are going to be covering the Pharmaceutical Sciences professional programs, specifically the Psychoactive Pharmaceutical Investigation program, and it's a program overview today here at UW-Madison. So the agenda for today, we'll start out with introductions. Again, my name is Marta, and I am the admissions coach here at the School of Pharmacy for the professional master's programs. And what I do, what my role is to um, give you a little bit about what the program is, how it can help you in your career and your educational journeys, see about eligibility and any application questions that you might have. I am your person. And we'll start with some program overview from Cody Wenther, go over the curriculum and skills that you'll learn within the program, also the leadership for change within the curriculum as well. We'll also go through the career breakdown, including a program vision, alumni outcomes, and career support that we offer throughout the program and afterwards. Then we'll go over next steps and questions. If you do have any questions during the webinar, you can certainly put them in the chat and we'll either answer them in the chat or we will hold them to the end and then address them there. But feel free to type anything in the chat whenever you feel is appropriate. So with that, I will hand it over to Dr. Wenther.
Thank you so much, Marta. So my name is Cody Wenther. I am the program director for the Psychoactive Pharmaceutical Investigation program. So what that means is I'm the lead faculty for making sure that the curriculum is staying up to date with the changes in the field, making sure that we have the instructors in place to make the program work, and making sure that the skills that the students are gathering during the program are matched to those that the field is looking for and the career opportunities that are out there. I also am a faculty member that teaches in the program, and I'm excited to interact with students on that front as well. So the first thing I want to talk about with regard to this program is the curriculum. So we've been around as a program for about 5 years now. And the thing that you'll notice on the left about our program is we're really actually two programs. And one of those is a Master's of Science degree in Pharmaceutical Sciences. We're getting a concentration in psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation. You can see that's the larger program with more courses and more credits. Embedded within that is a capstone certificate program with fewer courses and fewer credits. And the exciting thing about the curriculum is that those people who are enrolled in the capstone certificates and may find it to their liking can directly transfer those credits to the master's degree. And when we think about the students who are interested or appropriate for either or both of these programs, those who are in the capstone certificate are often individuals who are working in health sciences fields, for example, who might already have experience working with patients. They might be in the policy space. And you can see that the curriculum regarding the capstone certificate is structured to focus on classes that are looking at things like the legal structures around controlled substances, the role of cannabinoids and psychedelics in science and society, as well as some material on history, like the Dangerous Drugs and Magic Bullets course, clinical applications, like how do we use abused drugs appropriately, and what are the trends in drug discovery and development. And the MS program has all of those courses in it, but you're also getting material within the sciences and within the drug development space. So you can see the CNS Drug Designs, Actions, and Applications 1 and 2 course series, which is the course series that I teach, where we'll focus in on the molecules, the interactions of those molecules with the body, and the way in which they're used in clinical practice to address neuropsychiatrics. We also have Introduction to Drug Development, Regulatory Practice, and Project Management courses to help those individuals in the MS move into regulated environments where drugs like psychedelics are rapidly advancing through the clinical pathways and moving beyond to FDA approval quite shortly. So you can see the curriculum there is fairly diverse. We pride ourselves certainly on the way in which we can interact between the sciences, history, humanities, and in order to provide a quality education for our students. The other thing you'll notice down there at the bottom is the electives. Students can choose from a host of electives in order to customize their own path through the program in order to meet the needs of the path that they're creating. The other thing that's really important to say about our curriculum is from the very beginning, it was built with flexibility in mind. We have many students who are coming in who are adult learners, who may have full-time or part-time jobs, and they're trying to fit in this online master's degree alongside that. And we're very, very happy to have those students in our program because they bring a wealth of knowledge. And we have students taking varying credits across each semester. We have people doing the program in sometimes as short as 1 year, and we've had people be in the program for up to 3.5 years. So flexibility is a built-in component of the curriculum. The other thing that I think is really important to point out about the curriculum is the way in which we've designed it to help advance people's careers. So you're going to have within the curriculum both the ability to generate technical skills, things like that in-depth knowledge of CNS drug development principles, things like research design, experimental design, data analysis, biostatistics, application of experimental techniques and ethical practices and regulatory practices. All of these are going to be skills that employers are looking for while you're coming out, and practical hands-on ideas that you can apply on the job. But we also are focused on developing these broad 20th century, 21st century skills, things, again, that employers are looking for, but find their way weaved through the curriculum, not necessarily in terms of technical specific skills that you're going to develop, but in terms of your development as an individual and as a person seeking a long-term career. And that includes things like professionalism and work ethic, critical thinking and problem solving, oral and written communication, teamwork and collaboration, and leadership. So our curriculum was designed in a way where our assessments are authentic. You're not doing a lot of exam work, you are doing project-based work. So for example, in my course, you will be working with other students to generate a review paper of a controlled substance that's approved by the FDA in order to understand its pharmacology, its medicinal chemistry, and its applications. Just like you would be if you were a working scientist in the field developing a review paper for example, the American Chemical Society's Classics in Chemical Neuroscience series. And this sort of work is embedded throughout the curriculum, again, to help you get that real world functional type of experience that employers are looking for. The other thing that I think is really important in this program and that I really pride ourselves on, and what we hope to do is develop leaders, who are making change happen. And you can see on this slide a number of developments within the field of psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation and a number of the ways in which our program members and alumni have made impacts already working in the field. So we find ourselves at a moment where there's a lot of challenges to mental health in the world, and a lot of excitement about the ways in which psychedelics and novel classes of compounds derived from them can improve the way in which we deal with human health. And you can see on this slide some of the things from PPI program members and alumni, things like Lauren Blue's infographic on behalf of the Psychedelic Pharmacists Association regarding psilocybin, things like James Sosobe's contribution to the Arizona Department of Health Services report on psychedelic assisted therapy, Cody Zalewski's article on policy trends in the field, and so on. You can also see the great community that we develop as leaders there at the Psychedelic Science Conference. Many of our students come back for that and find themselves sharing with us all the incredible things they've been doing within and beyond the program. So what is the vision for this program? What does the field have to offer? How does this program help you meet that mission, reach your goals in the field? Well, the vision is we see this change coming. We see the number of clinical trials, the number of companies, the amount of investment in the field of psychoactive pharmaceutical investigation, in the field of psychedelic development that are happening. We see the changes in state to state and federal regulations that are addressing changes in the use of natural medicines. We see the challenges that exist in CNS drug development. And we certainly see the issues, right, with mental health that continue to plague many individuals around the country. And our goal is to meet that need, to develop students who are ready and willing and able to meet the need for those trials, those companies, to understand the complexities of the regulations around it, to overcome the challenges in that development, and ultimately support the promise of these compounds to help do mental health breakthroughs. And if you don't have to take my word for it. Certainly, you can look at some of the tools there on the right, like the psychedelic drug development bullseye, where as you move in from the outside to the inside, those are compounds moving from phase 1 to 2 to 3 clinical trials to approval. And each wedge represents a different class of psychedelic compounds or drugs that are inspired by psychedelic compounds. You can see the huge amount of interest and excitement in the space. And down there on the bottom, you can see all the ways in which the state landscape is changing around access to psychedelics. And the good news is, if you look at our alumni, we're already doing that, right? We're creating alumni who are helping change the face of the way in which the United States is interacting with psychedelics. So on the left-hand side, you can see some of the policy outcomes that our alumni have had impacts on. I mentioned Cody's Zalewski's piece, but he also has been spearheading local support as a co-director for an organization pushing for psychedelic reform in Washington State. James, again, is working with the Arizona Department of Health to develop their policies around psychedelic assisted therapy. We recently had another individual who was testifying before the New York Commission on the laws that are in front of them to consider changes around psychedelic regulations, right? And with more than 50 laws in varying processes around the country, there's a huge moment for people to make impactful changes in policy with the knowledge that they get. We also have lots of folks who go on to do research. This is one of the exciting things I love about this program. So I'm, not only the director of this program, but an active researcher with a lab where we're doing research with psychedelics, both preclinically and with people, in collaboration with our other faculty members here at the Transdisciplinary Center for Research in Psychoactive Substances at the University of Wisconsin. And lots of students, again, are very also excited about that and go on to pursue a research career. So Natalie is now a research tech. She's working with a colleague at a different school to understand the role of biased signaling at the serotonin 2A receptor and how that influences psychedelic activity versus not compounds that aren't psychedelic. Vincent is an example of a student who went on to work at Porta Sophia, which is an agency that's looking to create patent search tools in order to provide basically bad patents from being created in the field of psychedelics, given the amount of amazing knowledge that was already there ahead of time. We want to make sure that people aren't just exploiting that and patenting things that are general knowledge. We have folks going into academics of multiple stripes. So Mika is a PhD student in neuroscience. Liz is a PhD student in health services research and pharmacy and environment and resources, which is the first ever dual PhD student of that type here at UW-Madison. And Liz is just doing an absolutely amazing job there. Kendall is an example of a student who went on to medical school. We've had several students like that. And she also is on both two tracks here. So she's not only pursuing her medical degree, but also working directly in a lab down at LSU working with psychedelic compounds. We've had wonderful alumni go into business. Kian started his own business, RE, which is looking at equitable access for psychedelic support services. And Sam, who's an alumnus, who's a partner at a venture research fund that's investing in psychedelic research and startup companies doing that research. And of course, we have clinicians, right? We've had a number of different types of clinicians, ranging from pharmacists to psychiatric nurse practitioners, to Juan is a psychiatrist. We've had a number of behavioral health folks come through the program who are doing great work in the clinical space. Juan has his own ketamine and interventional psychiatry service clinic. Amanda, PharmD, is supporting the launch of psychedelic investigational trials at the medical center where she is, a center that didn't previously have any trials. So leveraging that expertise to grow the field and make sure that we're doing the research that needs to be done to understand how these compounds can be used safely and effectively. So with that, you can see the amazing types of outcomes that we have. You can see the amazing diversity of our students and the ways in which they leverage these programs. And we're extraordinarily proud to see that and look forward to many more alumni in the future. And the way that we think we can ensure that you as a potential future alumni actually have great stories like that to tell and wonderful career outcomes is that we build in career development skills to our program across multiple levels. So we have the curricular level, we have the program level, and the individual level. Where the curricular level is talking about those classes I already mentioned, making sure that they are supporting the learning and the skill building that we talked about, making sure that also those courses are in line with what employers want their students to know, their employees to know by the time they start up their career, and making sure that we've closed the loop with them to get feedback, make sure they're continuously updated. So we are making a lot of changes, for example, to our suite of electives that students can take, recognizing the ways in which the different employers that people have gone to are valuing different skills and making sure that students have the ability to plug into unique coursework that can make sure it fits with their path. We also have program level opportunities. We have dedicated resources like Chris McIntyre, who is developing things like resume books and networking opportunities for students to meet with employers. We also have direct recruitment events with employers and career development workshops where we're bringing in folks from across the industry to talk about their own career trajectory, giving students an opportunity to engage with them specifically. And then, of course, we have the individual level. We know every student is different, and we want to meet students where they're at, creating the job search that's based on their location, their interests, and other factors. And so, again, Chris McIntyre is an amazing resource that we have who gives you the tools at each level to succeed. We see about 1/3 of all of our students taking an internship opportunity that we provide. So we're also really excited to provide bespoke internship opportunities for our students to work within companies in the psychedelic sector and not-for-profits, et cetera. And those have been very lovely to see people, continue to move on and take full-time careers. So I'm going to hand it back to Marta to tell you a little bit about the specific next steps for the program. Of course, happy to answer questions afterward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Winther, for that. So our next steps here, send any of your questions to me, your application materials. Once you do start the application process, I'm happy to review them and provide any feedback. And I can also connect you to program ambassadors. So if you would like to chat with a current student, I can connect you to them. My information is on the screen here, but we will also follow up with the recording in about a week or so. So with that, I really thank everyone for attending today's webinar.